Okay, start. Hi everyone. Hello again. Aditi, Surti, and I, Nilofer Safdar, are here with you talking about being you, creating your business. And we were having such a profound conversation with so many aha moments. And guess what?
Nobody could
Nobody
hear us.
heard us.
How does it get any better? I love technology, right?
And to me, this is the essence of what this whole call is about. It's about, how life just presents you with whatever, and you being willing to take whatever is given to you and play with it, right?
Absolutely. And create something much bigger from it. How much fun is that?
How much fun is that? So, uh, okay. So, where do we begin?
Let's start at the very beginning. Let's just start from the beginning. Yeah. So, here's a sort of a gist of what Nilofer and I were talking about. We were actually tooting our own horn and we were saying to each other how fantastic we really are. The thing is, it's like, one of the interesting things that I really realized during this whole time is we always fail to recognize what's great about us. And it's not about tooting your horn or, putting it like a stamp on your forehead and walking around. It's just acknowledgement, And thank you so much, Nilofer, for this chance of working with you, creating with you, having fun with you, playing with you, because I think so much has come up in just like the last 2-3 weeks for both of us in willing to be honoring the energy of everything that comes up. And this is what 30 days business boot camp is really about. Are you willing to play? Are you willing to acknowledge really how amazing you are and what you actually contribute? Because most of the times we fail to acknowledge. Sometimes we're not even aware of what we're contributing. So it's the willingness to be aware and the willingness to acknowledge what you contribute to this business. And that's really what we're trying to get to, and we were just making a lot of jokes about it, which is our usual style. So
Yeah, and you know what? Let's actually start right at the very beginning. And the very beginning is, where do you actually start a business? So it's like, and that is what our journey has been together, both for me and Aditi. And it is actually this whole thing of creating from nothing. Because honestly, isn't that what we all create from? From nothing. You know, do you really, if you look at anything that you have actually created in your life, or whether it is a business, whether it is a relationship, whether it was anything, it all began exactly at that point where there was nothing. And then you started to create from it. You didn't even know what that was going to look like. You didn't know how that was going to be, but you might have had like this whisper of an idea float into your awareness somewhere saying, oh, you know what? I'd like to do business. Or, you know what? It might be nice to have a relationship. Or, you know what? It might be great to have this or that or whatever. And it just began with that one whisper of possibility. Maybe, when you were lying down in bed, or when you were half asleep, or, you were on the beach or something like that. And this whole conversation about the 30-day business boot camp actually began with me and Aditi. So we came, from the 7-day event in India. And there was this amazing body process which came through, which we could do distantly on each other. And we were swapping that body process for many, many days. And one day, she and I were chatting on Facebook Messenger, where we actually created 90% of this whole program. And she said, hey, and she said something like, hey, do you want to, shall we do a teleclass together? And I'm like, yeah, sure, let's do it. She's like, really, you'll do it with me? And I'm like, yeah, sure, let's do it. I'm so bored, I really want to do something. And and that was the whisper of possibility from where we both began. So it was that whisper, which showed up somewhere in her universe, and that energy, when she spoke to me about it, it was like it just lightened up my world, expanded my universe. We didn't even know what we were going to do. And then we just said yes. And then, we started talking to each other, and I said, what do you want it to be on? And she's like, you know what, let's do something on men and women, And that kind of felt light to me, and I said, okay, let's go for it. And we started creating that. So it is this place of where you are creating from nothing. So what I'd like you to do right now is, even if you have no business, even if you have nothing which is there in your universe, and if you just have that whisper of possibility of a business, I'd like you to acknowledge that, and I'd like you to be aware of that energy. And that is actually the place that you are creating from. And that is actually the place where we begin all our creations, and we're going to start this whole program.
Yeah, and most of the time, it's so interesting. We tend to ignore that whiff and that whisper, yeah? And it's like, it's just, how often does it happen? Like, you may get like even 10 to 15 or 20 great ideas during the day. And because you're apparently busy with something else, you're driving, you're talking to someone, or you're watching television, you're working, you're, facilitating a class, or you're running your current business, that you tend to not, pay attention to this. And it's not about, every idea is definitely going to turn out to be phenomenal. That's not what we're talking about. We're just talking about, will you acknowledge how intensely creative you already are? Aren't you like a popcorn maker that's popping out so many ideas during the day? Yeah, and each of them presents a possibility for you. Each of them has that energy of becoming something. It may not be right away. It could be sometime in the future, and it may not even be anything at some point. You've got to be willing to play with it. And that's what it is. And you don't have to worry about, it's only, when I have the right moment, or when I'm the right size, when I look a certain way, only when my hair is cut this way, or only if I have an MBA, or, no one in my family has ever done business. I don't know if I'll be able to do it. So all the rights that you're waiting for, the right moment, the right place, the right people, the right money, the right opportunity, how many things are you using? How many limitations are you creating to stop yourself from following that energy? And we're going to be exploring all of that. We're going to look at it, how we do it, and it's about creating a very deep level of awareness of how we function every day, and begin to acknowledge how wonderfully creative all of us are.
Yeah, awesome. And with the right also is this thing of being willing to fail. So
that
in how many
a lot of energy on the call, Niloofar. That really brought up a lot.
Yeah. So are you actually willing to fail? And I once interviewed Carlina, who is another brilliant access facilitator, and she told me that she has this amazing question that she plays with every single day with her son, and she goes, in how many wrong ways can I do this?
Wow.
And can you get that? I always laugh, when I ask that question, because for me it's like permission to fail. Okay, in how many wrong ways can I do it? Let me do it in the most wrong way possible.
Yeah.
And then that whole energy becomes that energy of play instead of that energy of should and shouldn't and could and couldn't, and it has to be this way and it cannot be some other way and blah, 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 blah that we all function
Yeah.
from.
Mhm. And it's so interesting, Nilofer. Thanks for sharing this, because when you were speaking about this, it sort of just got me a picture of, at the time when you're a little kid and you're on the beach and you find this really nice spot and you sit yourself down and you build your sandcastle. And at that moment, everything is perfect for you. All the ingredients are there, the energy is there, everything is there. So you just build it. And then after a bit, the tide comes in and it's destroyed. And you go, oh, okay, cool. And then you look for another spot somewhere. And then you go and plonk yourself down. And then you start and you create maybe the same or something different. What if your whole life with business could actually be that? What if you could have that same lightness? Oh, this is not working, or this one's gone. Okay, cool. I wonder what else I can create. Is this about failure, or are you just being given another chance to acknowledge how amazingly creative you are?
And the other interesting part about this is that we always think that when we actually begin something, we are actually looking at the end point. And when we do that, we actually lose track of the whole journey. And that journey is so much fun and so much transformational. And it's just like so amazing. And it's like, yeah. So I've been playing a lot with books these days, and the last 1 year has been a lot to do with books and something like that. And I just read somebody who is an author, and she said, the only reason why I write a book is because it is so transformational for me, because I change as I write that book. And isn't that true about everything in life? I mean, as you create something, how much are you being transformed?
Yeah, would you be willing to have, when you become like the person who creates this business, when you contribute to creating that business, would you be allowing and be willing to receive how much that business can change you, contribute to you and your life? And that's what Nilofer is talking about. And it could be like with books, it's amazing. I totally get that process. And, there are people, when they paint, it transforms them. When they write a poem, it transforms them. An actor would go on a stage and act something out, and that would transform them. And it's just really all about that. Would business also be creative? Does it have a creative point for you? Yeah, and we're going to be exploring a lot of that in this teleseries.
So there are a couple of questions which have come in. Let's see. Okay. I have been an avid business person from a young age. I have field experience as well. I'm wondering, what is your take on processes, methodologies, strategies employed currently in the world to market, to hire, to even set up a business as valid, or can be totally changed? Or are you talking about possibilities for self within this frame, or is it about things just turning up and happening, like the so-called lucky business people in this realm?
Cool. I think that's a good one to sort of take up. Do you want to go with that one?
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead. And this is like, there's so many different aspects that she's actually asking. It's like this huge thing. I think the whole teleclass can be on this one question. But go for it,
I know.
Aditi.
Yeah. So this is me speaking from a decade of being in marketing and strategizing and pricing and all of that in various industries. And it's so interesting. This is not really about dismissing any of that. this is not about dismissing any of this that we are talking about. It's really being open to all of it. That's one. Two, taking a look at every point, what is required. Like, you'll be writing something out that, I need to look at this particular area of my business. I need to change this. And when you're being in the question with that and asking for a different energy to contribute to that, you'll suddenly somewhere remember something that you studied or you learned in some marketing strategy class. And it will suddenly pop into your universe and you'll be like, oh, that was interesting. I wonder if I could use that over here. And then going with that in that moment. So we're not saying that the way that the rest of the world does is wrong and what we are suggesting is right. Neither is it the other way around. All we're trying to tell you is take a look at both. Take a look at everything that the world does. Take a look at what you could use from that in order for your business to grow and expand. Don't take what's not required. And please always be willing to ask what's required. And there is a lot of stuff out there that is very, very useful. What we're going to be doing in the teleseminar is we actually are going to take a look at a lot of the amazing business people around the world. Yeah. So I'm not going to disclose anything more than that right now. Yeah. Nilofer, do you want to take it ahead?
Yeah. So, I wanted to share this. Like when I actually started with Access Consciousness about 3 years ago, I happened to take, I went for a level 2 and 3 class in San Francisco. And Corey Michelle, who's another Access facilitator, she did this class on business. She did this little 1 hour, 1.5 hour class on business. And when I looked at her, I just, found it so amazing because what she had basically done was that she had taken all the tools and processes of Access and she had taken all the traditional marketing online strategies and she had created something which was totally different. It was like a melting pot of the two. And I said, wow, she's doing such an amazing job of taking everything that is working for her and putting it together. So what if being you, creating your business was totally about that? It's like, how many, Aditi, you were talking about your 10, 15 years of experience. And I know that, in this time that we've been working together, I've seen that brilliance that you have in marketing, in advertising, all your experience that you have as working for a TV channel, all of that come through in these amazing videos that you have created, these amazing graphics that you have created. I could not even have gone there, it just did not exist in my universe. But it's like you brought in all that with your awareness of the energies and you've created this brilliant stuff, right? And
totally acknowledge it.
Yeah, right. And so it's like say you were say you studied to be a doctor, okay, and you spent all those years 5, 10, 15 years in studying to be a doctor, and then you find this amazing world of healing, and you find that the medicine that I used to prescribe or whatever, it doesn't really work anymore. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take on to energy healing and I'm going to run energy and I'm going to run the bars or I'm going to do the SOP and stuff like that. But my question to you is, are you ever going to stop being a doctor? And will not that whole experience that you have, that knowledge that you have about the human anatomy, all those dissections that you did in the human body, all those patients that you worked with, will you not bring all that knowledge to the table as you are working with the body and the being which is on the table in front of you? Right?
Absolutely. I agree with that.
This is totally that. So if you have been a corporate person, you're going to bring all of that with you when you step into business. So this is about claiming, owning, and acknowledging all your experiences, all your capacities, all your talents and abilities, and using that to create like a totally new creation for you. Yeah. Is there
Yeah.
anything else you wanted to add, Aditi?
I actually did think of something and then it went away, so I'm asking it to come back. Yeah, there was something very, very profound, and for a moment I was like, oh, let Nilofer finish. Now it's gone. Cool. It'll be back when it'll be back.
And then you can just jump in. Then
Yeah.
the other thing, which she has kind of put in over here is like the so-called lucky business people in this realm. So my question to you is that, the so-called lucky business people in this realm, well, do they not choose to be lucky? and can you not choose to be the lucky business people, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay, now it's back. Thank you for saying
Okay.
this, because that really helps. So here's the interesting thing. All the marketing strategies and all the stuff about how to create a business and how to set up a business and how to make it successful, how to make it profitable, all of that stuff came to people from a point of nowhere. There was somebody somewhere at some point who created that and said that, hey, you know what? Let's do it this way. This works. Yeah. And then it worked. And then 20 other people used it and they said it worked too. So you remember, right, what Gary says. It takes more than two people to have the same point of view to create a reality. And that's how it became a reality. Yeah. So please don't dismiss it, but please consider that you also have the same capacity of creating something new, something different from absolutely nowhere that will at some point become a marketing strategy. That was the profound thing I wanted to say.
And then I had a profound thing pop up and now it's disappeared. So, in and out, in and out.
I know. Absolutely.
That's so funny.
Let's just talk a bit about, these lucky business people that you talk about.
Yeah.
So what we tend to do with these lucky business people, we make them big. We also idolize them pretty often, don't we? Yeah. And we look at them and we go, oh my God, how the heck did they do that? It's just so amazing. I wish I had what they, that's not the idea. Yeah. Do you sell yourself short and you don't see how brilliant you are because you've given that mantle to them? Yeah. And we're going to be taking a close look at this. Yeah. Because, like even when Nilofer and I sat together and I was like, this woman is technologically way superior than I am. Okay. And if I had to do this by myself, I probably wouldn't have had, all the stuff that I have right now. It's like, damn, I wish I was so good with this stuff like she is. And I love the way she comes up with ideas where I feel stuck. And I'm like, I'm not having that. And then I realized, but hey, wait a minute. I do add to the advertising and the designing and the creative. And I get that I do fill those gaps in where she may not be great at, but she definitely contributes to. So this is really more about getting a sense that you may find some business people lucky. You may be in awe of them. You may find them brilliant and that you don't measure up to them. But this is not what this is about. Are you ever going to be able to create if you have idols in your life? Yeah. And if you're going to spend your whole time wishing that you were them, will you then ever be able to create your own business? Yeah. So that was the next point that we were going to talk about. So you wanted to add something on this?
Yeah, and this has been really very interesting for me. The other part of this also has been, you being willing to step into the unknown, and you being willing to actually step out of your comfort zone. So, for example, when Aditi first asked me about doing a tele class, I said, yeah, let's go for it. And I was aware of the energy of expansion that was going to create, and I said yes to that energy. And then when we actually started talking about what we would actually do, I realized that what she was talking about, I had no clue about any of that. And I went into this space almost of, I would say, discomfort, because that was way outside my comfort zone. And I just acknowledged that to myself and I said, okay, you know what? I'm just feeling so much out of my comfort zone at this moment. And it's okay to be like this. And I just had this absolute knowing that even being way out of my comfort zone, this was exactly what I wanted to create, what I wanted to do, even though I had absolutely no clue what I was going to contribute to it. And this is, I think, one of the things where I keep choosing over and over again is this: I have this trust in me. I trust myself, and I trust the universe. I trust that the universe has my back, and I trust that because this possibility has shown up in my universe, it means that I have something that I have to contribute to it. I just don't know right at this point of time. And I'm willing to choose it. I'm willing to claim it. I'm willing to own it and acknowledge it, right? So everywhere where you are not willing to claim, own, and acknowledge the brilliance that you are, will you choose that now, please?
Yes. Awesome. Yeah, and a part of that brilliance is also acknowledging your difference. You are different. Why would you want to be the same as anyone else? Yeah. And when you get you're different, and very, very often when we acknowledge that we are different, we tend to make it wrong. So even for a moment, if it is a wrong, just go, oh, you know what? I don't like this thing about me that I am. I wish I was that. So when you acknowledge that, just be willing to play with that even for a bit. And say, cool, even if it's a wrongness, fine. What's the worst that I can do with it? Okay, now what's the most amazing thing I can do with it? And be willing to explore it instead of contracting and shutting down and, feeling like, not good enough. Yeah. So be willing to play with, look at the energy and see where it can take you, and don't dumb yourself down.
Yeah, Aditi, talk more about dumbing yourself down.
Sorry, I didn't hear you there.
Talk more about what do you mean by dumbing yourself down?
When we dumb ourselves down is when we are not acknowledging how brilliant we are. We think we are like this tiny, tiny little thing who's not capable of anything. That's what I mean when I say by dumbing myself down.
And it's also, isn't it that place where you're trying to figure out what you have to do, and you're looking at, oh, I don't know how to do this, and so you will not choose that thing which is going to expand you, instead of just knowing that, you know what, I can do this, and just stepping into it.
Yeah, absolutely. There was this really interesting saying that I read. It was by some anonymous business person. He said sometimes it needs you to jump off a cliff and build a plane on the way down.
Oh, wow.
Would you be willing to jump off a cliff and really allow it to excite you enough to find out who you really are and what you're capable of building?
And you know what, Aditi, it's not even that you have to build a plane on the way down. when you jump off the cliff, you will realize that there was a road which was being built, which you couldn't see from the cliff. But now that you've jumped down, you'll land exactly on that road, and you can walk across.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So let's take another question. So I often wonder if business is any different from how you live your life. I see I get more serious when it comes to business. Can you shed some light on that?
I wonder if it's because of the way this reality does business that you are also doing it the same way. Don't business people make business a serious business?
Yes.
Just asking.
I now have a business, and my business is set in concrete here, and it has to be like this, like this, like this, like this, and I have to be like this as a business person. And Aditi, how do you and I do business? Wearing our pajamas.
In our pajamas! Yeah, and you should see some of the pajamas I have, okay? They're ridiculous, all right? I have Minions on them. I have Mickey Mouse on them. It's just crazy, yeah? And I really for me, it's a great desire to wear my pajamas and conduct classes someday. Yeah. What would it take for that to happen?
Absolutely. And I do business at 4 a.m. In the morning. And I literally, wake up, go to the loo, brush my teeth, and come and sit there in whatever I was wearing to sleep. And that's how I do my business. So that's how not serious it is for us.
No, that's our seriousness.
That's the level of seriousness we live by.
Yeah. It's really just it's really just the point of view that you choose to take that's going to create that way of life and business for you. So if you are not creating a life seriously, why would you want to create your business seriously? Yeah. The only seriousness that would come into it are those areas that you're not maybe willing to take a look at or change, or that you have a fear around. Maybe it's about not wanting it to fail, or some such thing. So we're going to have to take a look at that in detail, explore it, and then question it, and then see what comes up with it.
And then there is another part to her question, and she says, I get exasperated if something does not work. I feel I'm not very creative and go into the space of upset and urgency. I don't get what it is to be creative, create, at least that is what I think. And if I do, I can't put it into anything tangible. So you know what? This is like a brilliant question. It's awesome.
Yeah.
And you won't believe the number of people I talk to who actually function from this whole space. And that is the reason, we have created this 30-day boot camp. It's like literally Aditi and me holding you by the hand, and you begin from this place of nothing. And in those 30 days, you will actually end up creating, or you will actually have something that you have started to create as your business.
Absolutely. And the reason why Nilofer is saying this, because that's what we have been able to step into in the last few months for ourselves. Yeah. So there are a lot of awarenesses. We totally get what you're saying, because this was me 2 years ago. Yeah. It's, getting frustrated, exasperated, and looking at the ruin of what I had created and just not able to function from there. I would stop creating, I would stop functioning, I would stop doing anything, and I would sit at home thinking, oh my God, my life is a disaster. I can't do anything. I'm not capable of anything. Everything I touch turns to dust. And that's the sort of crazy conclusions that I lived with. Yeah. So this is about you getting that you don't have to put everything in the dust. Yeah. And everything that has so-called failed is going to be one of those dots that are going to connect for you later on. So even what we think as a failure is going to at some point contribute to something in the future for you. It's just that in this moment you don't know what it is. So instead of concluding it and judging it, what if you just honored it and took a look at, hey, you know what, that's interesting, that really didn't work. I wonder if that's going to be of use to me someday, and what would it take? And then just leave it. Okay, what else can I create now? It's the constant state of play. Would you ever make anything serious then?
So there's a comment on the webcast saying, can we ask questions on the phone? Absolutely. Go for it. Ask your question on the phone. Aditi, did you want to add anything more to this?
No.
Okay, cool. So yes, Maria, you can ask your question.
Hi, Nilofer. Hi. How are you?
Hi, Maria.
Well,
Hi, Maria.
Hi. This is what's going on. I go forward, and I'm going through what you went through, what all of us are going through, that not feeling, the strength to go forward and create things. But my case it's so peculiar, and I still scratch my head, and I'm like, how can I get out of this? And I ask questions, and I ask, who does it belong to? I create things. I created a wonderful book that's been selling every single day in the whole world.
Oh.
I created a new workshop from the book called Ask and You Shall Receive, introduction, and then I'll do, the rest. And even though with all that creation, most of the times I wake up in the morning and I say, gee, I'm not worth it. I can't do this. And of course I say, who does it belong to? Of course I do that. Who does it belong to all the time? But I am so sharp with who does it belong to? And it feels so heavy in me. And I'm like, okay, why is it that, why is not a question, but is it mine? It's somebody else's? But why is it so hard, so strong, that feeling so strong in me? And I have proofs that people calling me that they have changed their life by only reading 3 pages of my book. And I still feel that down and like, I don't feel like doing anymore. I don't think I'm just going to see, who I marry so I could just wake up at 10 a.m., at 11 a.m. And I'm such a hard worker. I'm like, Nilofer, if I have to work at 4 a.m., I'm working there. But at the same time, I'm like, I don't want to do that either. So this is the question. What is it that's going on?
Okay.
Yes, Maria, what is it that's going on?
So I have only one question to ask you, Maria. What would need to occur for you to relax and acknowledge what you're doing and what you're being? What is it that you have decided that needs to occur, and that until then you're not going to be willing to acknowledge how amazing you are and what a contribution to people you are?
Well, do you want the answer?
It's just a question. I mean, if you have an answer.
Yeah, I just want somebody to find me and say, my goodness, how great you are. I'm going to give you $1 million for you to develop whatever you want. That's what I'm waiting for.
So Maria, how many people have actually acknowledged how great you are?
I don't even know. I can't even count.
Exactly. So you're not.
Yeah.
So that's exactly that. It doesn't matter how many people outside of you acknowledge how great you are, unless you acknowledge how great you are. None of that is going to really matter. So, let me share with you something that I have used and which has really changed my whole reality. So I was in a level 2 and 3 with Dr. Dane here, and he said something which just, changed the whole way I look at things. He was talking about Blossom Benedict, who is on the team of Access Consciousness. And he said, I've just come from facilitating a class on the weekend, and Blossom came up to me and said, Dane, I'm so sorry, I wasn't much of a contribution in the class. And Dane said, I looked at Blossom and I said that, Blossom, just by you being in the room We could go places, we could, touch things, we could open up spaces that would not have been possible otherwise. And I was sitting there in my chair and I looked at that and I said, oh my God, just by the fact that I exist, just by the fact that, I can, if I'm a part of something, I'm a contribution to it, and that thing changes. And that one awareness changed my whole universe. And since then, every single day, I ask this question: what contribution am I being that I'm not acknowledging? And
Yeah,
literally, I actually started asking that question, and within a week, I started getting emails. Started getting phone calls. I started meeting up with people, all of whom, were my old clients, were some of my friends, and all of them would keep telling me the same thing. They would tell me, you know what, the work that I did with you, it changed my whole life. I just love spending time with you, and when I'm with you, I just feel so good about myself, and so on and so forth. So would you be willing to acknowledge the contribution that you are being?
Yes.
Awesome. And, Maria, there's something recently also that occurred when I was at Venice Facilitators last month. I asked Gary a question in class that I cannot still receive what a contribution I am. And he said something that it literally blew my pants. He said, yes, honey, because if you did, you would have to step up.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it. And I was like, damn. Damn. And it whirred around my head like a helicopter for the whole day. And so much shifted after that. It's unbelievable. So how much are you using this to not, be even better?
Yes.
Yeah, awesome.
It is true. I think that's you got it on the dot. You put the dot on the I, whatever you say. It is that probably that fear that I'll have to clear of being out there and being, let's say, rich and famous or whatever, of stepping up and people, just acknowledging. So how awkward it is that I'm not doing anything until someone acknowledges it. And indeed, I'm fearful that I've been acknowledged. So.
Yeah. And, the most amazing thing is, like, if you take a look at all the stuff that you're really fantastic at right now, and when people come and tell you, oh, you're good with this, you're like, it's not a big deal. It's just easy for me. And once it's easy for you, you don't see it and you don't value it.
Yeah.
So what is being successful and amazing at what you do could be also with that ease? Would you be willing to step there so that you don't need to stop and ask people to validate anything? You don't need any of it. You're just doing it because it's easy for you then. Yeah. Being awesome is easy for you.
Right. Oh, how great. Yes. Oh, I have a million questions to ask, like from just, this past 5 minutes I talked with both of you. Thank you so much.
You're most welcome. Cool. So, Nilüfer, darling, do we have any more questions?
Yeah, we do have a bunch of questions. Hold on.
Oh, awesome.
Okay. So what does business look like now as we move into a very different way of being and communicating? As things continue to change so quickly, how do you keep going with ideas and visions of business as everything shifts and transforms? And what can we now create, and how can we use that to our advantage? Brilliant question, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. Wow. This is awesome. I think the only thing I really have to say is, are you willing to be forever changing with you and with your business? That includes your visions, your target, your everything. Like, would you be willing to change it? because it's only when you have set something, in stone that you would come to a point where you would need to ask this. But if it was like an easy flow, it's like, oh, this is different today. It's like even when I look at scheduling my classes, for example, like I woke up, I had a class scheduled for 16th and 17th of this month. I was going to be doing the Talk to PhDs beginners, and I woke up this morning and there's like a general energy of density around a date when I'm doing a class. And there was nothing there. There was no density on those 2 days. And I looked at it and I was like, oh, that's interesting. I guess the class is not happening on that date. Oh, I wonder what's really going on. And then an hour later, my coordinator called me and she said, a lot of people are on holidays and they've requested if you can do the class later. I said, yeah, absolutely. So it's always going to be changing. And it's like, yeah, I got the 16, 17 weekend free. How awesome is that? I wonder what else I can do with that weekend now. It's just forever changing.
Yeah, and the other part of it is that, we want to be on solid ground and create things. And what if actually the place where you can create from is quicksand? What if there was no place for you to stand on and all you had to do was that, you had that liquid or that, that space, which is just space from which you have to create. And then how much you would have to keep shifting and changing and, doing that. Like, when we began this conversation, in the beginning, when none of you could hear us, Aditi and I were having this conversation, and there was this little bit of heaviness in the conversation, almost like we were both struggling to talk. And then, we both were continuously in the question of what's going to create more here. And then I looked at the Q&A and I saw this comment that people couldn't hear us. And immediately I got it was that energy, telling us that something is wonky here. So you have to be willing to be so aggressively present that you can get the whispers of the future and start shifting and changing where you're standing. And you just have to be willing to be that change.
Cool. Do we have any more questions?
We do have questions, Aditi, but let us talk about the 30-day business bootcamp a little bit, and then we'll come back to answering questions because we have another 10 minutes to go for an hour, and we're happy to go a little bit over, but let's talk about the 30-day business bootcamp. So basically, the 30-day business bootcamp is almost like Aditi and we are going to hold your hands and we are going to walk those 30 days with you. And you can just walk into the program with just this whisper of possibility of, I'd like to create my business and I have no clue what I'm going to do. Or I have some clue of, I would like to do this as my business, and more than that, I don't know anything. And we will hold your hands and we will walk with you through those 30 days, and we will create that business along with you, right? And this can be even for someone who is already into business and you're not sure what's going on with your business, how it's going to be, whatever. And it's going to be there, me and Aditi present with you for those 30 days and creating your business along with you. And it's going to be it's not that, we have a business plan for you that, this is the business I'm going to give to you. And this business has absolutely worked and totally you just have to take this and you have to duplicate this and your whole business is created. No, it's going to be a journey of self-discovery, of self-inquiry, of looking at what you would like to create as a business, what's going to work for you, what is you being you and creating a business going to look like. right? Aditi, you want to add anything to that?
Well, the interesting thing about it is we are really more interested in you discovering who you're being. And your business is going to become a natural outcome of that. So your business is going to totally represent who you really are, and it's going to be so different from what anybody else in this group does it. So all the people who sign up, there are going to be so many questions, there are going to be a lot of insights, a lot of awareness. We have daily exercises for you, self-inquiry exercises that are going to get you to look at all those places about you, with you, and your life that you've kept hidden from you. So we want you to take a look at all of that, and we're gently going to coax you into bringing that out and then exploring it and then see what can change over there. That's one. So this is going to be 4 teleclasses, one every week. And those teleclasses are going to set in motion an agenda for that week. So it's going to be more topical, and we're going to explore all the aspects of that. And there's also an interesting sort of a graph which we are going to give you, where you're going to look at yourself and how you are literally, I can use the word progressing for now, on a week-to-week or even a daily basis. How did you feel about this 5 days ago, and now what is your point of view about it? So it's a lot of fun. It's packed with a lot of goodies, and it's not just the telecalls, the exercises. I'm going to have some consciousness exercises for you guys as well to reach into those places that you've not reached before, to explore new things, to open new doors to areas that you didn't even know existed. So it's a lot of fun, and the idea of doing it in this format or with this particular foundation is because when it's done in a group, you literally get contributed to, and you do contribute to others. And that's what makes it fun.
The other thing about this is that there's going to be these daily exercises. So every single day you're going to have an exercise, and this is going to be an inquiry. This is going to be you, going into this journey of discovery with that and finding out what's really true for you and what's going to actually work for you. I know a lot of you have been have actually filled out a survey that we created. We sent out 4 questions to a lot of people, and I'm so grateful for all of you who filled out that survey for us. And I had a lot of people writing to me and telling me just filling out that survey was such a transforming exercise for them, because they started to see the insane points of view from which they were creating business from. They started to see the brilliant points of view that they were creating business from. And so literally what we're going to do when you sign up, we will send you a different survey, and that survey has something like 12 to 15 questions, which when you fill out, you're going to start seeing so much from your life, from the way you're creating business, that you're going to be, wow, do I really do those insane things, or do I do those absolutely amazing, awesome things, So that's how we start off with, right? And then we're going to go through those 30 days with the daily exercises. We're going to go through the 4 telecalls, and that's where, and also everyone who becomes a part of the 30-day business bootcamp, we're going to add you to a private Facebook group, and you can be interacting there. You can be asking questions there. You can be sharing your aha moments there. You can pair up with people there, have a buddy, and, hold each other accountable and keep going through the whole program. So this is for me, it's like an immersion. It's like a 30-day business immersion where you're literally you're kind of, you're getting your hands wet, and you're creating along with us. It's not about you just sitting and reading something or something like that, but you're actually stepping into all those energies of creation and creating from there. Does that make sense? And you know what? Let me read out this question which has just come in, and I think answering this question will bring in more clarity for us. So the question is, how is this going to be different from what I have learned in Access? Foundation level 1, level 2, and level 3 Access books like Joy of Business or Money Workbook. I'm asking this because I want to know if this is a completely different program, and if so, what is the difference? Brilliant question. Aditi, you want to answer it?
Great question. Great question. Yeah, because I've done all of those classes that you mentioned, including Joy of Business. And Joy of Business is a little different. It doesn't do hand-holding. These daily exercises that Nilofer was just speaking about, these are not things that are from Access. This is stuff that I have questioned for myself, Nilofer has questioned for herself, and we've discovered so much about ourselves and so much about the way we create. So these are tools that we have literally developed, which are very hands-on, very practical, and very real. And I'm not saying that the stuff that's in the other classes isn't. That's also incredibly pragmatic. It's just that this is a completely different class. This is where day by day you change. And you account for what and where you have changed. You are intensely aware of what's going on with you. And Foundation Level 1, Level 2, and Level 3 talk about a lot of different aspects of your life. And they don't talk about business. In fact, Foundation Level 1 doesn't even talk about business. So when you're looking at creating a business, what you do generally is, not you specifically, but we all do generally is, we all tend to go with what this reality does. And this series is about unplugging you from that. And this is about discovering what's fantastic about you, what's different about you, what's awesome about you, and then you creating your business because of that. And that's where this class is different.
The other part of this is that even everything that you think is wrong about you is actually not. It's this brilliant capacity that you have, and what you have done is you have made it into a wrongness just because you don't want to step into it, just like, Maria just who asked the question live on the call discovered. So it's about you uncovering each and every aspect of that. And yes, it's going to be there every day. So this is going to be a large part of it. We are going to be working in the Facebook group, where we are going to be posting the daily exercises in the Facebook group. Plus, we are also going to be sending you daily emails with the same exercise. So, you will have actual exercises that you will be doing every single day. And it is really, that place where you start creating with the whole group, So if some of you have been doing the How to Become Money workbook, and if you do it every week, you discover how everything changes for you, right, from week to week, because you've been doing it. It's the same thing which is going to happen in this group. Aditi,
except that here it's pretty much
wanted to...
daily. Here it's pretty much daily. So there is a reason why we call it
daily.
Camp. Yeah, because boot camps require dedication, they require a certain level of discipline from you, where you have to be committed to it. The word is committed, where you are committed to creating this by day 30. Yeah, you have a specific target. This is where you are. This is where you want to be. And this is exactly how you're going to go about doing it. Yeah. And please remember that all of this is set up as of, and it will change as the energy changes. It will change as per questions that come from all of you guys. So it's forever evolving and changing. Yeah?
And it's like, when you step into it, what you are demanding, that is going to show up for you, And the other part of it is, whenever you go into any boot camp, The first few days are great because you're all enthusiastic, you want to do it, and all of that is great. And then you hit your wall and you hit your resistance. So, so this is literally about us being there for you when you hit that wall. And it's about you being vulnerable enough, about you being honest with yourself and going, you know what, I've hit my wall and I want to move and I'm not going to stay in this place anymore. So it's again, you have to choose that and you have to ask for what you require to move forward, and we are there for you. We have your back. Aditi, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah. Is there anything else you wanted to add?
No, I think we're good.
Okay. I have a couple of questions. Will there be handouts that are instructional that offer steps of the creation process? Yes. Will there be an online forum for the group to work with each other outside of the telecalls over the month of the 30-day boot camp? Yes, we're going to be working in a Facebook group. And there is a question which says, which day is going to be the web session? So there will be 4 telecalls. And we will post the dates and the time, as soon as you sign up, we will give you the call-in details and the dates and the times of the 4 telecalls as well. Okay?
Yeah.
So if you have any more...
Nilofer, do you wanna let them know that once we are through with this call, where they can go to sign up?
Yeah, absolutely. So on the same page on which you are listening to us, if you scroll down, there is this big orange button which says Add to Cart. You just click on that. So we have an early bird price, and the price is $97, and the price is valid through till 12th of May. And on the 12th of May, it's going to go up to $127. So you can go and, sign up over there. And we will be glad to have you with us in the 30-day business boot camp. And,
I just realized, Nilofer, that that's like barely $3 a day.
Yeah, create your business $3 in $3.
Yep.
I love it.
I love it too. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, Aditi, you want to take one last call before we end the session. And if you have any more questions, feel free to send it in. Okay, so I have a sense of what I would like my business to look like. I get the elements of what I would like. It excites me. It's been feeling around the corner for a long time. What would it take to have it now and in the future? So my question, is there something I'm missing?
Nilofer, honey, would you repeat the last part of it, because I just suddenly it got cut off.
Okay. So what would it take to have it now and in the future? My question, is there something I'm missing?
Okay, cool. All right. So you've asked the question, is now the time to stop this?
And here's the thing again. Here's my interesting point of view about things, okay? So it's like what happens for most of us is we take on one idea and we are devoting all our efforts to that one idea, and then we get super frustrated when that thing is not working out. And what you literally have to do is have 20 different ideas and play with 20 different ideas. So last year in September, I started creating books, okay? And I have these, I just counted yesterday, I have about 8 books I'm creating right now, okay? And I was getting so frustrated because not one of them was getting done. But I kept playing with all 8 of them at the same time, along with a telesummit and some teleclasses and some live classes that I was doing and everything that I was doing. And now, playing with all of that, now, one book got published. One book is almost ready to be published. There are another 3 which are 95% done. So it's that thing, if you're not doing enough, you're going to step into frustration. So how many ideas do you get in a day? I bet not less than 1 million. Do you write those down? Yeah. So write down your ideas and start playing with 10, 20, 50 ideas and see what you start to create with that. And probably in the boot camp, you're also going to play with 20 different ideas, not just one.
Yep. We're going to really push you to places that you've not been willing to go. So Niloufar says, holding your hand, sometimes it could be holding your neck. So, just kidding.
Sometimes it could be like giving you a kick
in your,
it is.
Yeah, it is. But please know this, that we are your greatest rooters. We are your greatest fans, because we just know that you can do this. We just know it.
Yeah. So I have 2 more questions which are about the boot camp. Somebody says, do I have to have taken the Access Consciousness classes to take the boot camp? Absolutely not. There are no prerequisites. Just jump in and we will be part of it. The other question which has come in is, when you say you'll be holding our hands, what kind of access do we have to you for telecalls, and what else during the week? We are going to be there on the Facebook group every single day, throughout the day. So you can ask whatever questions you have over there. And both of us, we're going to jump in and we're going to, be there for you there in the Facebook group. And you can specifically ask us your specific questions during the telecalls. You can literally have conversations with us like we are having today. Yeah. So somebody wants to actually ask a physical question. Okay, so I will just unmute them. Hey, last 4 digits, 3633. What is your question?
Hi, good morning. I'm calling
Hello.
in from Palm Springs, California.
Hey.
Good morning. Nice
Good morning.
to have you.
Good morning.
It's lovely to be with you. Thank you. I think really I raised my hand, but you addressed my question, just the previous one. How much access will we really have with you? Because I feel like a little worried going into the frenzy of a boot camp. Like it feels like a lot, and I feel like I'll be ringing in the wind. So I think you addressed that with, you'll be there every day. We'll be able to have our answers addressed in real time, not have to wait for once a week or something.
No,
you're right.
It's every day.
We will be there every day. We will be there. We are completely committed to this. In order for this to work for you and for us, it requires us to be committed, and we are totally willing to be that.
And you know what? Like Aditi spoke about us kicking ours. It's the other part of it is true. You can kick our butts too, right? You can tell us, hey, come on, I require this. Do this for me right now. We'll do it. Yep. So it's us pushing ourselves and us pushing everyone, and all of us pushing each other to break through all our limitations and break through whatever it is, and actualizing all those brilliant creations which are waiting to be actualized. And how much are we going to change the planet by doing that? One of the questions that I have been asking, is, what can I create today that has never existed on the planet before? And I'd like to invite you to be a part of that question that we've been asking.
I accept your invitation, and I will be joining you.
Awesome. How does it get any better?
Thank you. How does it get any better than that? So thank you so much, everyone, for being on the call with us. And it's been just amazing. The energy, the questions, everything has been just amazing. Thank you for our contribution. And you know what, I'd like to gift you something. So I'd like to actually gift you the questionnaire that we had sent out to people, you know. So what I'm going to do is on the event page, right at the bottom, I'm going to put a link to that questionnaire. There are like 4 questions that we asked people, and go in and fill that up. And you know, I'm asking you questions will change the way you live. Okay. So thank you so much. Thank you, Aditi, and thank you everyone who's been on the live call with us. Thank you everyone who's going to listen to our call in the future. And we look forward to playing with you in the 30-day business.
Aditi and Nilofer, I want to thank you so much. Both of you, thank you so much. This is Maria.
Oh, hey, Maria. Most welcome. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. We had a really wonderful time. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.